Shuhei-san, thank you so much for your time today. I know you've had a very
you.
long day. You started this morning with CNN.
This is my second time visiting Hong Kong.
Second only?
Yeah, the last time was over 20 years ago. So I don't remember anything. But
Wow.
I'm amazed, how big this place is. This place is small, tiny, but lots of people, lots of buildings, and
Yes.
super modern things and old buildings next to
And
each
a lot
other.
of gamers too.
Yeah. I
Hong
visited
Kong.
many small, game shops and lots of people.
Yeah.
And lots of Japanese anime and comic books and
Hong
figures.
Kong people, we appreciate a lot of the Japanese culture, especially comics and games, and that's great. I know you've answered this many times already, but Morpheus is still on track for first half of 2016.
Yes.
There's no more specific time frame at the moment. Still first half.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, as far as hardware development is concerned, it's almost done. The hardware team is still making very tiny tweaks to improve the experiences. But the biggest effort now that we are making is on the system software, like a UI and SDK, and the technical support to game developers. So until we know the whole picture of what games become available at what timing, and hardware becomes completely done and know the cost of goods and like that, we can set the pricing and we can set the release date and we can talk about the launch lineup.
Now, when you say the hardware is almost final, is it still the first retail version? Is it going to be the same size? Can we expect it to be even slimmer, smaller maybe?
This is pretty much the consumer product.
Oh, okay.
But they are fine in tuning. We've been doing the usability testing, and we are finding certain things are confusing to consumers. So we are making small changes. What the hardware designer has made is, this may look bulky, but the weight balance is so well made that when you put on, you immediately forget you are wearing the headset, and you just focus on the experience. So that's that we know we have accomplished already.
Actually, I want to ask you about whether there are other use cases for the Project Morpheus, because I think earlier you mentioned briefly about working with other studios on bringing more
linear entertainment content.
Yes, 3D movies and things like that. But I think I want to ask specifically about whether Morpheus will be whether we can connect it to other maybe video sources, maybe mobile phones, maybe Blu-ray player, because obviously Sony already has a heads-up display device that you can wear. But obviously this potentially can be a more versatile device. I know you're aiming for a reasonable price point, but if you want to sell it, do you think you can offer more features, more compatibility?
No. Well, I agree with your last comment that when people make a purchase decision, people tend to like to have multiple usage for that device. And we know that a lot of people who use game consoles like PS3 or PS4 also enjoy watching movies and TV shows. And so these are very popular features. And sometimes these non-game services features are used by some other person in the family. For example, you play games on PS4, but your wife or family member might just use PS4 to watch movies. So the same way, we believe that bringing entertainment content to Project Morpheus is very, very important, even though the primary focus is to provide virtual reality games. So with regards to if this headset works with other devices, we are proud that the Project Morpheus runs at 120 Hz, and that creates really, really smooth visual experiences that I'm sure you tried today.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I actually tried at Tokyo Game Show first.
Oh, okay.
So even earlier.
So the Project Morpheus headset has to be connected to PS4. So things that comes to PS4, there's a chance that can be enjoyed on Project Morpheus. So we are waiting later in the future to talk about non-gaming functionality and UI and OS features on PS4 when you connect Project Morpheus to PS4. So please wait for that.
I know PlayStation Home is no longer around, but do you think Morpheus can maybe bring back a similar type of gaming experience? Do you think there are still people who want to play this? There's obviously Second Life, which is a similar type of game. Right now, I haven't seen any titles there of that category. So what do you think?
I totally understand what you're talking about. The virtual community and virtual reality works really well. And PlayStation Home, in that regard, might be ahead of its time. It was popular among people. There are many people who wanted it to continue. There are some people who are crying, when we switched off.
Virtually crying.
So, virtually crying. But already on PC, you see several different companies creating the virtual space for people to come and meet, creating avatar using Oculus Rift. So something like that, I can totally see and expect some companies will create these services on PS4 so that people can use Project Morpheus to get together and spend time with each other. It's really powerful experience when you see other persons, even just a headset, to move very naturally and hear the voice of that person. You can totally feel that person is near you, just like we are talking each other. So I can totally expect that kind of services will be developed for PS4.
But it's not of your company's interest at the moment to bring back a similar project then?
For now, I haven't seen any company who announced that types of experiences for PS4 and Project Morpheus.
Quick question about PS Vita, because obviously, even though the focus is Morpheus right now, Vita recently passed the 4 million mark in Japan. So would it start to get more support from Japanese developers maybe? Because for instance, Monster Hunter is a big deal. If you can get that on the Vita or even any of the PlayStations, that's going to be a game changer for you guys. But in general, any new developments for Vita?
Well, I'm not sure if we have announced 4 million units in Japan. We have not announced, but there are services like VG charts and something.
Okay. So apparently Vita is doing
So Vita is doing well, and new games are coming out. Came out the game the Persona 4 Dancing All Night, the music game, very popular in Japan. And at E3, Square Enix announced a new game called World of Final Fantasy. That will come out on both PS Vita and PS4. So many new games are being announced, and almost every week, great digital titles are coming out on Vita. I've been playing the game called Shovel Knight. Came out in the US and Europe a couple of months ago. That's a 2D action platformer.
Okay.
So again, I'm not sure if these games will come out in Asia, but a game called Super Time Force Ultra, where it's a 2D action game, but you can play as me.
Oh yeah,
as a playable character.
Yes.
Will come out on PS Vita. And another game called Nuclear Throne by Brambia. Brambia created Super Crate Box and Luftrausers. Both games came out on Vita. These are really well made, fun games. And also the game called Volume by Mike Bissell. Mike Bissell made Thomas Was Alone, and that was released on PS Vita as well. And his new game is called Volume. It's like a Metal Gear Solid style stealth action game. And that's gonna come out on PS4 and PS Vita. So many new games are being made by third parties and indie developers. So as a platformer, we have shifted our focus from our studios to support PS4 and Project Morpheus.
Awesome.
Except for digital multi-platform titles, we have shifted the large team's work onto PS4. For example, the Killzone Mercenary, the Guerrilla Cambridge, is making rigs for Project Morpheus.
With 4K TVs becoming mainstream, I want to ask you about whether we can expect a 4K gaming update for the PS4. I mean, maybe you've answered this before, but I think now seems to be a good time.
One thing I was surprised visiting stores in Hong Kong with lots of TVs, even like a smaller size, like a 40-inch TV, 4K support.
Yeah, I just bought one actually.
So I think Asia is ahead of the world in terms of 4K TV adoption. And when you look at the global market, like US and Europe and Japan, the 4K is catching up, but not as fast as in Asia. So when developers are having difficult time creating games at 1080p and 60 frames per second, it's a golden standard these days on PS4 generation. And some developers choose 30 frames per second or lower resolution in order to have more contents in the game. So it's a trade-off. So if developers have to make games with 4K resolution, that's 4 times as many pixels as 1080p. So that might have really negative impact to frame rate or number of objects or something like that, even if PS4 could support 4K output in games. And PS4 doesn't. It's not designed to support 4K gaming. So that's where we are now. So PS4 has the 4K output support, but PS4 doesn't have 4K gaming support.
Okay, fair enough. But so basically, higher frame rate is the priority.
The game experiences.
Now, I want to quickly talk about China. Obviously, now you're here. It's censorship, because obviously to develop content in China, censorship is always a barrier.
Challenge.
Yeah. How do you? Is that an obstacle for you guys? How do you go about working alongside the authorities?
Yeah. Well, it takes a long time to get game approved. From Chinese censorship organization. So we are trying to work very closely with these teams so that we understand their rules and what kind of contents could be problematic. So it's a learning experience as of now.
But there's still, would you say, there's already some good progress in the development space? I mean, I don't know if you're in charge of the studios in China as well, because that was how you started in China.
Well, we don't have studios in China, but we are bringing our games from US, Japan, and European studios to the Chinese market. And we have already released Knack and Drive Club and Little Big Planet. So these are more family-friendly contents. So had a better experience going through the censorship. But when we make more mature content in the games, we have to work, closer with a Chinese organization to understand what makes acceptable.
It's actually a bonus question. Because I don't know if you saw the Nintendo PlayStation. Because we obviously wrote about it, and that's why I looked up when which year you joined, and 1986. But you said you weren't part of the SE at the time.
Right.
But what's your side of the story?
So when I joined Ken Kutaragi's team, there are system called PlayStation that had both Super Nintendo cartridge support and some disc game support. And actually I played some games as well. But I'm not confirming or denying if this is the one, because somehow I think it's more fun to keep it kind of mystery.
Okay.
And it's a long time ago, so my memory is like a slow.
I can bring you some more coffee if it helps. Well, thank you so much for your time, Shuhei-san.
It's really nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.